Okay, there we go.
And now I got it. Okay. I
There we
couldn't,
go.
I couldn't find my volume up there. How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, been a busy day. There, now I got your gallery view. Okay. Been
Dr.
busy, and I know y'all are too. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Allison texted me and said she's going to be just a couple minutes late, but she will be joining.
Okay. Okay.
Her school has different hours. She doesn't get out till almost 5, I think.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, that's okay. Dr. Lamb, I'm going to speak for just a few minutes, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Lamb anyway. So, okay. Tanya, you made sure you were here today, didn't you?
I did. Thank you.
This is a really important one anyway. Angela, who did you say?
Allison.
Allison, okay. Got you. Somebody, hey, Matthew. Can you hear me, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how you doing?
I am great. How are you?
I am doing well. It just seems like Monday has been 3 days in one today, though. It's been a busy day. Monday and Tuesdays they're my busiest days. I've got I do another part-time job with 3 after-school programs, and I have to go to Raleigh on Tuesdays. I have to travel to Raleigh because I teach face-to-face. So I try to go see them in the afternoons, and trying to juggle everything and getting started back. It's just, it's all good. It's just a lot at the beginning of the week. So,
Right.
and then I've got a doctoral group that I'm working with as well. So I have a lot of stuff coming at me all the time. And again, it's not bad. It's just readjusting after not doing it for, what I'm talking about, because y'all put everything down for a few days and having to pick it back up and start all over again. So, But anyway. Y'all got some days coming up soon. I know in my county where I am, they've got work days coming up because of the end of the 9 weeks. I don't know.
We had that today.
You had that today. Okay. Well, you ought to be all rested, Tanya.
No, I work today.
Hey, Mary, I see your face this time.
Oh, good. I'm sitting on some books.
Are you sitting on? Are you standing on something?
I'm sitting on some books.
Oh,
How's everyone?
It's all good. Hey, Lee. I see you, Lee. Do you hear me?
I do now.
Okay, you're smiling. I see that pretty face. Okay. Okay, LaShonda, can you hear me? You've got it on mute.
There we go.
There
I
you go.
can. How are you?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. While people are, okay, Matt, you got yours on mute. Is that on purpose?
I think he's on a phone call.
Okay, that's okay. Any questions while others are chiming in at this point? Any questions? And all of you are learning.
Survive this semester?
Yes, you are, Mary. You are. And Dr. Lamb, I talked Dr. Lamb about you yesterday too. We were talking.
You did?
Yes, it was all good. It was all good. He said we were talking. I was talking about students that I have that he also, was their intern. So, they're his clinical coach, and that's. Hey, Jordan. So yes, Mary, you will survive. It's just, there's a song that says I will survive. You know which one? If you will, and I'm empowering you. Remember when you did that the teacher empowerment, the Artifact 2, and it was all about teacher empowerment?
Yeah.
I would be cheating you if I didn't empower you this semester. And I'm not going to cheat any of you. Hey, David, how are you? Yeah, You would.
See, I'm in South Carolina. I still have to take the exam in South Carolina.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're in Columbia. You're in Columbia, right?
Yes.
Columbia. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
How are you, David?
I'm doing well.
Okay.
We have stuff due in Blackboard tonight, right?
Yes.
Nothing in Blackboard. Nothing's in Blackboard. Everything, remember, goes to me. What are you talking? What are you talking about?
The date in Blackboard for our first assignment, that chapters 1 through 3 in this book,
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
next Sunday.
it says today in Blackboard, but on
Well,
the
that was a mistake. Then remember that I'll clarify. Nothing's going to Blackboard. You're sending it to me like you did before.
But what about the due date? Is it tonight or next Monday?
the 29th.
It's the 29th. It's next week. So I don't know how that happened. But thank you for bringing it to my attention because I thought I had fixed everything. But anyway, I've got several of you have turned it in already, or several have turned it in. Where am I looking? Tell me where I'm looking in my course syllabus.
It's in Blackboard. I think what happened is what you had due for probably a previous course because the dates even say like 2016, I think.
You know what? I don't know how that got in there because I have not used it. You know what? I was
On the
playing
left-hand
with some stuff
side.
and it may have gotten in there. It may have gotten there. I'm sorry. Remember, you're not doing anything with Blackboard, so just disregard anything with Blackboard. And I'm sorry that there was confusion with that.
No, it's just
Wait.
the first time in my career I'm actually like early with something. And I
I turned in one early.
Okay, well, take it out of that and send it to me then. Okay, just take it
Okay.
out and email it to me. That's
So
okay.
we don't have to. We
Well,
don't have to do a peer review either. I mean, like respond to one person.
Well, your peer reviews are only for your artifacts. That's
Yeah, I
all.
mean not the peer review, but in the assignment it says. Well, since we're not posting in Blackboard, we won't have to reply to someone else's post.
You know what? I bet you anything. I had a 605 class this summer,
Mm-hmm.
and we were going to start out with that, and then they convinced me to do something differently, and that's why. And I bet you that's what is lingering
Uh-huh.
still. Anyway, hey, Janetti.
Hey,
So,
you,
Jordan, you're on mute. Can you hear me? There you are. There you
Yeah, I
go,
can hear
Jordan.
We're
Okay.
doing some
But
wiring.
anyway,
by how
nothing
to do
is,
that.
and I'm sorry. I wish somebody had called me on that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, call me if there's anything that you're not clear because that clearly was not supposed to be.
Okay,
I
so
will have to go
nothing.
in there and figure out. David, you usually will email me or text me about something.
Well, no, I was ahead for once, so
Well,
I just didn't know what to do with myself.
Well, that's a good thing. That is
I'm like,
good thing.
No, because I'm 2 weeks ahead on Blackboard, and I'm like, wow, nobody's posted. Like Drew hasn't posted. I haven't seen
Yeah.
anything from Angela.
Yeah,
Like,
I posted.
Well,
like,
okay.
am I in a class by myself? What is going on?
Okay. But anyway, it turned out to be a good thing anyway. Hey, Drew. Hey, Dale. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Doing great. But again, remember, if it's anything on that Blackboard, disregard it. We're doing it our way, like we talked about. So I'm sorry that that's out there. I've got to go figure it out why it's there after we get through. But David, that's a good thing. Just take it out and send it to me like we've been sending it.
Okay,
just-
so
Go
just
ahead.
to be clear, nothing is due by midnight tonight.
No, it's whatever was. I think it's due. Your first assignment is actually due next week, isn't it?
The
On
29th.
there it
The
says
29th. So that's it. Yes, but if you've done it, that's a good thing. That's right, Mary. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, David. I'm proud of you. Oh me. Some mistakes are not always bad.
Yeah.
Hey, Carla.
Hello.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. 5 more, and I know Olivia is out of the country. So we're waiting.
Hey, Dr. Stedman
Yes.
or Dr. Lamb. So Olivia was wondering if this is going to be recorded and the link sent out.
Yes, Dr. Lamb and I have talked about that already. So yes, we are going to do that. And I'll send it to all of you just in case you miss something and you want to go back and look at it again.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you.
we'll make sure
I'll let
that happens.
Cool.
Dr. Lamb, you got to tell me how to do that. Dr. Lamb's my teacher on stuff like this. So Dr. Lamb's going to teach me how to do that, but I'm going to do it.
You are recording it. The red light is on. And so what we'll do at the end, when you end the meeting, the video will automatically process. It will go to your file manager under your Zoom folder, and we will change the name of it to tonight's date. And then we will take it to YouTube and we will upload it for public domain. And that will give us a link. And we will email that link. And Dr. Stedman, remind me to email that link to Dr. Zion. She wants to see the night session too.
Okay.
Prior to her going out and working. So we're going to send this one to some other content coaches as well.
Okay.
So that our clinical coaches as well, so
Okay,
that they
okay.
understand what we're.
Yeah, guys, you're going to be famous. You are going to be famous. Stacy, you're on mute. Stacy, can you
Yes, sir, I hear you.
There you go. Hey, Stacy.
Yes, sir. Hey.
Okay. David, I sent you an email. Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay. You know, just take care of that, and I'll look at it whenever you send it to me. Okay. Dr. Lamb, while we're waiting, Stacy and I talked last week. Dr. Whitaker's going out to see her tomorrow, but she had some work back from October that has, October, did you say, or November? Anyway, work that November that has still not has been graded. And I told her to talk to Dr. Whitaker about it tomorrow, but if there was nothing done, and I know who it is, so I can talk to you about who it is that has not graded her work. But it should have been graded by now if it was in there since November. Am I correct?
Yes. There's 85 pieces of work from the 604 the 604 group, and there's a couple from this group, and I made a call today. So I'm monitoring task stream as well, and so I made a call today. You should see some movement by tomorrow. If not, I'll go in and grade it myself if I have to.
Stacy, keep me posted on that, and I told you we'll fix that if we have to. So
okay,
was there
thank you.
anybody else who has work out there that has not been graded yet?
I do as well, Dr. Stedman.
I have one too.
Who is that now? Who just told me that?
LaShonda.
LaShonda, okay. LaShonda, monitor it over the next couple of days and then let me know what's going on so I can communicate back with Dr. Lamb about this and Dr. Neal, okay?
Okay, will do.
I have one too, Dr. Stedman.
Okay, Janetta, keep me posted on that as well.
All right. Who was the first person that said their work hadn't been graded?
That was Stacy Futrell.
Okay, let me see.
And you know we can see your screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Won't work if you don't.
Dr. Lamb,
y'all can see my screen.
Yeah,
All
he's
right.
okay.
Everything's fine. Let's see. I only see one piece of work that hadn't been graded. Is this it? SOP D?
I have submitted a few of them. I know the OMA, I think.
According to this one, it's still work in progress. This one was submitted. This one, right? Yeah, you're right. These two were submitted back in November.
Right.
That's not a good sign.
Well,
it pleases when I try to go in and look and see what's going on. Not good.
Okay.
That may be why it's not graded. I'm under program manager. That ought to open right up, and it's not. My link is still good.
That evaluator, Dr. Lamb, is the one that was working as an administrator in accounting year, Charlotte, and is no longer an administrator.
Okay.
Worked at Athens Drive last summer.
Right.
Last summer, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It has been submitted, and it was on 11/14, and I don't know why it hadn't been graded. But I made a call on these today, and I will follow up again tomorrow.
Right, I don't mind telling you,
It's already been graded.
That one is Dr. Ellis. I know that one. I'm just asking them to point out. If you know who it is, let me know.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I don't see. Has Aaron Locklear joined us?
For the week old, send Dr. Stedman an email, and he'll forward it to me, and I'll get on it again tomorrow.
Okay. Is Alex with us? Alex, are you there? I don't see Alex. Aaron, are you there? Okay. Dr. Lamb, anybody else joins us? Just about everybody's here. I'm going to let you go ahead and take over. Guys, the purpose of tonight is for Dr. Lamb to bring clarity to everything that you need to do based on what has got to go in the test stream. So pay careful attention, and then we're going to send this link to you. So if there's other questions, ask him questions if you need to ask questions. Okay.
All right.
Dr. Lamb, it's yours now.
All right, thank you. Y'all can see the screen here in Task Stream?
Yes.
All right, I am going to switch over to one of my interns who's with us tonight, who is Drew. And we'll use him as our example. All right. As you can see, Drew has done all the components of his app cell, and he has submitted his final app cell. Is there anybody in the group who doesn't know how to submit the final of the artifacts? You understand that when you submit there, you submit a comprehensive document that contains all 5 of these components in one document, so it looks like you wrote it all at one time. And you also submit summary and descriptors. There's a button only under this one in the app cell. There's one in all 6 that says complete form. That shows that.
There's a lot of background noises. Can we mute our volume?
Yeah. Can y'all still hear me?
That's
Yes.
better. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's much better.
All right. Now this is an old one, but this is what the student screen looks like. Yours says component A. It's the same thing as part A. All right, but for each, as you can see, for each of the 6 evidence artifacts, there's a final box that just says app cell, app tail, skip, so forth. When you click on that one, it tells you right here to submit, excuse me, to submit a final document that contains all 5 of your components, and you have to click on the button that says complete form and do your summary and descriptors. Now, If you don't know how to write summaries and descriptors, you put them right here in these boxes. That's okay. You just write them. You just write them in Word and copy and paste them into these boxes. And you say, well, Dale, what do I write? Well, I will send you, as soon as this thing, I will send you a document. And that document is called, interestingly enough, writing task stream summaries and descriptors. So I have a document that you use to write those summaries and descriptors when you submit that final evidence narrative and you do your summaries and descriptors. I've got a document right here. It's just a simple Word document that tells you how to write your summary and descriptors. Now, the way that it works is I have a series of questions for each of the 6 different evidence artifacts. We'll start with the app cell. I have a number of questions. So this is what it looks like when you click on that complete form box that I just showed you button, and you write this. But what you do is you answer these 9 questions for the app cell. You write 1 paragraph each. Shouldn't take you that long. And then you split it into 3 and put the 3 sections into those 3 boxes that they have for you for your summary and task stream. Those 3 boxes are reflective, statement, impact. You don't have to go along with that, but these questions go along with it. So just write 1 paragraph for each of these. And I have a different set of questions for each of the 6 evidence artifacts. And then when you write a descriptor, as you know, there's 5 things that we want to know. Content, what'd you do? I formed a PLC. This is for 1B1. The very first descriptor is 1B1, works with others. What'd you do? Formed a PLC. How'd you do it? Got all the math people together. Analysis, what happened as a result? We went to Algebra 1A and 1B. Outcome, we got it implemented. It was very successful. Students did better spreading Algebra 1 over 2 semesters rather than 1. Reflection, we'd do it again because it doesn't cost us anything extra to do it. Just that simple. I also have a document that's summary and descriptors that shows you what that should look like. And it's very helpful when you read the prompt or when you read the descriptor, don't know what they're asking you. If you'll read this document that I've got for you, it will prompt you as to what 5 sentences to write. So remember, one paragraph each. You answer these questions for your task stream summary. 5 sentences for each of your descriptors, and they're the 5 sentences. I will send you these 2 documents. Well, actually, I'll send them to Dr. Stedman, and he'll send them out to you. Okay? So that's what goes. That's what goes. Task stream's being a pain tonight. Task stream doesn't really like Zoom. Come on, take me back to where I want to go. So that's the first thing to understand and realize is that each of the 6 evidence artifacts, there is in fact a final submission. So that's the thing that you need to be working on this semester. And once you get all your components done, is you need to be working on that one.
Dr. Lamb.
Yes.
And again, just to clarify what you've told them, that paragraph, all you're doing, it is a brief summary of everything that you have done. You're just telling in just 5 or 6 sentences everything that you've done. That's all you're doing.
Yeah. You just answer the questions for your summary, and then you write. There, it finally came back. Okay. No, I will submit later. So that you can do it. Come on. There we go. All right. Task stream is being bulky tonight. Come on, task stream.
Dr. Lamb, does
Yes.
everybody need to put theirs on mute at this point unless they need to ask a question?
No, it's pretty quiet right now.
Okay.
Pretty quiet right now. If I can just get Ashwin to
Okay.
come back online for me here.
Okay.
That's all I need is for this to come back online for me. It's not responding right now. Let me make sure.
I hear a whole lot of feedback. I don't think it'd be a bad idea to mute.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everybody just mute at this point until we need to ask questions and come back together.
All right, so I'm going back. All right, we're back. We got it back working again here. All right, here we go. Back to Drew again. All right. All right, so as you can see, Drew has already submitted his final, all of his components for the app sale and his final. Now, it's that same way for each of the 6. There's a final submission where you put all of your 5 components together and then do your summary and descriptors for each of those. So this one got submitted earlier, actually yesterday, and so Drew's waiting for it to be graded, and he'll be through on that one. Now, you need to submit an internship log. I know they told you didn't have to, but they told you wrong. You do have to have an internship log there, and if it's just for the last semester, that's fine. We got to make the bell ring. If you don't put something in there to grade, your portfolio won't be complete, and it won't you won't be allowed to register for graduation. So make sure that you put something in terms of an internship log there. If it's only 80 hours from the last semester, or if it's the whole log, either one is fine.
But all of them have done plenty of stuff, I'm sure, to make that work.
And
So where it says supervisor, our supervisor sign?
Yes, I would see. Drew put his all in as one document here, and I'm sure if I open that up, which I'm not going to, it'll hang. If I open that up, it would be signed. I would have my site supervisor sign it, because we need to know then that that they're okay to do your certification of competency. You understand that the competency is related to that log of activities. So in the end, your principal's going to be asked to certify you competent in the 21 areas of North Carolina administrative competency. And what they would look at is, did you do all those activities on your those suggested activities during your internship?
And Mary, yours is going, Dr. Lamb will do one for you, and your site supervisor will do the same thing.
Right.
Okay.
So what happens is there's 2 competencies, and you can see, if you look at the screen, you'll see Drew's already got his done. So one will be me, and one will be his principal, Miss Mountford. That's his principal, and that's mine. We do them independently, but we do them based on, did he do all those suggested activities that show up on his internship log? When they said internship log wasn't due anymore, what they meant was for people starting in fall of 16, because their principal's not going to have to do certification of competency. They're doing a different portfolio system. Y'all had to do one submission in a portfolio, but they're having to do 3 plus a whole system that involves their principal along the way. So they misspoke when they said no more internship log. That should have been no more internship log for students starting fall of 16, not for those legacy students in the pipeline, because your principal is still going to have to do competency, and I, as your clinical coach, am still going to have to do competency.
Okay, so just to be clear, like last semester, Dr. Pickard told me that I didn't have to do
right
any of that. So
right.
when I show my log, how many hours are you looking for on there?
If it's got 80 on it, I'm happy as a lark.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
Well,
Lee,
I mean,
just
if you've
remember,
got something that shows 80 hours for a semester, we'll have to just take it on your word. You did 80 every semester because.
and if any of you have a problem, you need to let me know so I can reach out to Dr. Lamb and Dr.
Yep.
Neal if there is a problem.
Right. Okay. So that certification of competency, you see that on your work page in your script. Now, you also see licensure evaluation. That's not you. It should have a green lock on it. That is not you. That's your evaluator that evaluates your work. That is not you. So at the end, when you have just like Drew, as soon as his final sign-off is graded here, his grader can also or should be triggered to go in and do his licensure evaluation, which is an overall score on all 6 of his evidence artifacts taken as a whole. And so that's not you, and you don't have to remind anybody to do it. It's supposed to be done for you automatically. You will need to remind your principal to do competency. And you need to be able to, and if they ask you, well, I would at least show them that suggested list of activities and say, if you don't have your log, and say, I did all these, so that they will certify you competent. So internship log got to have something in there with at least 80 hours on it. You probably had somewhere in the neighborhood of 160 before you were told to stop keeping it. But if you've got 80, I'm good with that. Competency, that's going to be your clinical coach and your site supervisor now. Make sure, yes.
So let's go back to certificate of competency. You said that the principal has to sign?
No, they have to do it.
Oh, okay.
They have to go into TaskStream in their own account and do it.
Okay.
They have to actually open it up and go through all 21 of those questions and answer them, whether you met them or whether you didn't. It's a 3-point scale. It's 0, 1, 2. 0 is not met. 1 is a low pass, and 2 is a pass, basically.
And for all of you, some of your site supervisors are going to say, or site administrators are going to say, I've lost my stuff. I don't know how to get in there. You'll just have to let your clinical coach know. You can let me know. I will email and let Dr. Shellman know if he needs to go back and send information. So we'll work that out if they say, I don't know what to do.
Well, you can tell your site supervisor, the quickest way is to tell your site supervisor to directly email Dr. Shellman.
Right.
And he's D. Shellman. That's all one word. D. Shellman. DSHELLMAN at Gardner Webb. And you can't do it. You got to have your principal do it from their work email.
Right.
And tell them I need a username password for TaskStream. So
and Dr. Shellman is fast about sending that information back to you.
If it comes from the principal.
Yes.
They're very fast. All right, so
they can do that now?
Pardon?
They can do that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no time like the present.
Okay.
Absolutely. Need to do it now. If they don't have it, they can sign off anytime after this semester starts.
Okay, thank you.
Waiting too late gets over in the hope category. I'm not big on hope. Hope's not a plan. I'd get it done now.
Okay.
Now's good, always. All right. So you need to do all of your university dispositions. There's 6 of them. The one that says disposition says semester 1, there's 36 radio dots, little circles that you put the radio dot in. All right. There's 36 of those. There's also 2 lines of text that you have to write in to start that. And one is, I work at what school and my site supervisor is, and that's your principal. If you don't type those in and you don't put a dot in all 36 circles, it will not submit. have a lot of problem with that. Make sure that when you get a dot in all 36 of the questions, you have both lines of text typed in, and then when you go to the bottom, hit save and return, and then you will submit it just like you would submit work for evaluation. If you don't submit it, it won't come through. If you just save and return, you're not done. You got to submit it. Now, the SOE dispositions are only 6 questions, and you don't have to write anything on them, but the same thing. If you don't submit them, they won't come through. Now, once they come through, your internship the old internship supervisor that we now call clinical coach, that person can do the other half of it. But we can't do our half till you do your half first. So Drew had to go in and submit all these first before I could go in and do the other half.
Dr. Lamb, don't they have to tell TaskStream to tell you to do it once they do it? Don't they have to do something in there? Or
No,
does
they just have to submit it. If they just go in and do it and save it, I won't get triggered to do it. That's what I was referring to.
That's what I mean, but don't they have to
submit it, that triggers the TaskStream tells me to go and do it.
Okay, got you. Okay.
For some reason, students think if they just go in and do it and hit save and return that it's done. It is, but it won't let me do the other half until they submit. And it won't a message for me to do it until they submit.
Okay, so everybody understands that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a question real quick. Are we submitting the dispositions the same place we were before, or are we doing like the new way with the where the web pages and stuff are?
No, you're doing them right here.
Okay.
You're a legacy student. You don't even have to download the disposition folder as a legacy student. The only additional folio that you have under folios and web pages is your competency. You don't even have to download the dispositional one. We're doing all of ours right here.
If we downloaded the disposition one, should we delete it?
No, you can, but it won't hurt anything if you have it there. All right, so now the other part of the dispositions are for your site supervisor. Your site supervisor, that's why they need that username and password. Not only is your principal or site supervisor going to do certification of competency, they're going to have to do 3 dispositions on you as well, if they haven't already done them. So as you can see, if we look at Drew's, what we're going to find is we're going to find that Miss Montford did his, and it looks just like the ones you do on yourself. Again, there's 36 questions, got a check mark on them on here, but it's a little circle with a radio dot, but you have to type in, just like she had to type in Drew and the name of the school, Drew had to type in her, name of the school and her name on his. And when I go in, I type in the name of the school and Drew's name. So in the end, you've got to have 9 dispositions. You're right, Allison. We put those in a folder for the later students, but y'all still have them here. So you need to finish them here. But yes, we did put them elsewhere from here on out, but they're still here for y'all. So site supervisor dispositions, your principal does these, you do these, and then your clinical coach does the other half of them. Principal and clinical coach do competency. Your grader does licensure evaluation. You put something in internship log. You put something in all of these components. You put your final comprehensive document here and do your summary and descriptors here. And when you do that, your DRF portfolio will be done. This is what we call a DRF portfolio. It will be done. All right. Any questions on this portfolio? Who does what, where, and when? As I said, I'm going to send the document to Dr. Stedman, and he will distribute them to you about writing task string summaries and descriptors and examples of accomplished summaries and descriptors.
So when is the whole final thing due?
April 1st.
Okay.
And that's a good question, David, because that's a hard deadline. If you come in later than that, there's no guarantees. And if you come in a week later than that, it's assured that you get to be in 699 this summer. Wouldn't you hate to have to listen to me all the time in 699? That should be incentive to get finished in itself and to avoid having to deal with me. Great.
Okay, and that's the competencies as well, April 1st.
That is correct.
Okay.
So let's switch over to the competencies. Does everybody have their competency folio loaded? If you don't, I'm going to show you how to load it right quick.
Dr. Lamb, before you go there, everything that Dr. Lamb has talked about, folks, it really and truly, putting all that stuff together, and Drew will tell you and some of the others, it's not hard. You've got everything you need already. It's a matter of just sitting down, pulling it all together, and putting it in that final document. You got everything already for it. So it's not recreating or creating new stuff. Am I right, Dr. Lamb?
There's nothing new in 605.
No.
Nothing new in it's just pulling stuff together you've already done. That's stuff that, I mean, everything. 5E and 6F, those two components are pulling stuff together you've already done. Putting together your evidence, your final evidence artifacts, that's just pulling together the components and writing about the things you've already done.
Dr. Lamb, before you go to that next part, the dispositions, I talked to him last week briefly, and I told him I didn't want any. Just do it. Don't fuss about it. Tell him about the OMA E.
Just do it. Don't fuss about it.
Give them a suggestion on what to do there.
You know, the lead up, you know, the answer to those questions should be about, you know, 2 pages, and then fill out the graphic organizer. I mean, all we put in OMA E is just the barest of directions. Just basically the Dell's Notes version of OMA E is what we put in there. So if you go in and look, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It just asks you to summarize what you did in the first 4 components. It's really easy. So if we go and view work.
And I sent them that link that Dr. Neal sent out last week, so they got that.
Yeah, so this is it. This is the whole directions right here. Creating a process plan. You just write a couple sentences on each of these things right here, and then put what activities you're going to do. We'll look at Drew's. I know he doesn't mind. He's my good example. We'll look at his. His is a little bit longer, but it doesn't necessarily have to be as, more than a couple pages. But you're going to need that graphic organizer to put together 6F anyway. Let me say that again. When you get to 6F, you have to have that as part of what you put together for 6F, where you put all your action, process, and marketing plans together.
So you're basically going to use it twice.
So you're going to have to do it later on anyway. So you might as well do it up front. But you can see here, Drew just listed the importance and he just went right down the line, answered the questions, and then he put together his graphic organizer. Delegation of administrative responsibilities, one administrator per grade level, math class offered in one first period, allowing math teachers homeroom tutoring. See, these are management things. Perfect. This is perfect things. This is things that you're going to put in the process of developing your master schedule. Look at it from that. What you're doing is you're going to add some things that are going to be involved in the process of master scheduling. Perfect. When we do our master schedule, math class is going to be offered in first period. Excellent. Collaborative PL documents made by scheduling common planning time. Again, that speaks to your master schedule. This process plan is just some reminders of some important things that need to be priorities when you do your master schedule. And so that your master schedule is thought out and suits the needs of your school. It's just not wherever that worked out the best for the numbers. So, I mean, perfect. He had 2 good, strong things here. And he had 2, and then And then an overarching thought was one administrator per grade level to monitor this stuff. He's got 3 items on his process plan. It's perfect. It's just perfect. I mean, this is exactly what we're looking for. Some things to add into that give you guidance and are priorities in your scheduling, so that you do the scheduling rather than the scheduling does you. If you're not in charge of the scheduling process, you're not in charge in your building. If you're not setting the priorities in your master schedule, then somebody else is. So this one by Drew, perfect. He wrote a little bit longer under each section than he was required to. If he'd have written 1 paragraph, I'd have been fine with it. But what I love is he got to the heart of the matter. He's got 3 really strong activities that are going to guide their scheduling process at his school. And that's what we're looking for you to understand as an administrator, that you got to do the schedule. You can't let the schedule do you. And this one is really good. Drew might even share it with you, but that's up to him. But it's really good. But so that's what I'm talking about. It's not hard. Right here, just follow the directions. Write a couple sentences for each of these bullets. Have a couple of activities that are going to guide your scheduling. Like, might be something like, we're going to teach reading before lunch in elementary school. That's a good thing. Where mentors and mentees are not going to have common planning, so they can watch one another teach. That's a good one. Whatever you figured out throughout the process of your OMA would be things that might make your schedule better. You stick them in right here. You had a rationale when you did D. You had a rationale of, we're going to follow federal law first, then state law, then local board policy, then best practices, and then teacher input. What did you decide that you were going to do? I mean, this is just expressing those ideas in a quick and dirty way. This is going to guide our scheduling. Really, really easy. If this one takes you more than 2 hours, you're overthinking it. Or you didn't do work in A through D. You got nothing to pull from. But if you did your work in A through D, this one is really easy.
Dr. Lamb, I've got some good examples of OMAEs that have been done. I'm just going to send them. I'm going to send them an example of one. I'll send y'all an example of one that I felt good about that has already been done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've sent out a couple, but I knew Drew's was a little bit.
Yeah.
Drew's a little over the top, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But I knew his was a little bit extra, but it's a good example. All right, so that's your regular DRF portfolio. You know whose responsibility everything is. I'm going to send you those documents to help you with your summary and descriptors. Remember, there is no button under each of the components. The button for complete form to add your summary and descriptor is only under the final submission for each of the 6 evidence artifacts. It's only there. It's not on the components. I get questions about that all the time. I can't find the complete form button. Well, that's because you're on a component and not on the final one. If you're on this one, that's where the complete form button is. All right. So we want to, I'm taking you back out. All right. So when you sign into TaskStream, if you have not initialized your competency folio, it's very simple. You click on messages. You click on competency template down here at the bottom. You scroll down to the bottom of the next page and click on competencies revised. And there's the folio. Then you hit this yellow copy button. That copies it into yours. Yes, proceed to copying. It'll tell you that it's there. And then when you click on folios and web pages, voila, there's the red one right there. And then when you go in and open that one up, it will have 23 competencies over here on the left. You only have to do the first 21. Let me say that again. There are 23 over here. Therefore, the newer students, you legacy students, only have to do down through visionary. You start with communication and you go through visionary. You only have to do one example. I'll put my finger up on the screen. Make sure I use the right finger. You only have to put one in. One.
Okay.
One.
Dr. Lamb, Go to
Yes.
Lynn. For communication, give them an example of what one thing would be for communication.
Screenshot of an email permission from your principal to form a PLC.
Can we do more than one thing?
You can. That would not make any of us mad. I've got a lot of my students that are 605, just like Mary. I'm going to show you some examples in a minute. I've got some that are putting all three in. You know, but you only have to have one. And of course, you know, you get to pick. Here are the three areas. Each one of them tells you what three areas that they can come from. So for communication, it's got to come from evidence artifact 1, the app cell, evidence artifact 6, the PSYOP, or it can be open-ended from the list of suggested activities that you did as an intern. So now, in that vein, I have made you a cheat sheet, of course. Come on. So, for open-ended competencies, make sure you can still see this on the screen. Dr. Stedman, you can clue me in here as soon as this one opens.
Okay.
Can y'all see open-ended competency artifacts?
It's there.
Okay. So what I have done is from the list of suggested activities that you were to do as an intern, I have classified where these would fall in the 21 competencies. So addresses large or small group of adults, that would fit under dialogue, inquiry, or communication. Now, as proof, you would write 2 sentences. I conducted a small group, a PTA meeting, and a proof of that, an artifact proof of that might be like the minutes or a flyer advertising that meeting. Be that simple. But I have classified each one of these things for you. So you should have done something for each of the 21 competencies and while you were doing your internship activities. So here's where you'll find your open-ended ones. Again, I will send this to Dr. Stedman to share with you. Now, I also have, from just doing your evidence artifact work, I have what I just told you when Dr. Stedman prompted me with give a communication example from the evidence artifacts. I went straight to the very first one. Email PLC permission, a screenshot of that from your principal and a 2-sentence explanation. That's competency number 1. What is competency number 1? Well, that's communication. I didn't have room to write them all out, so I just had to number them on this one. So that one would fit, these things would fit any of these 5 competencies right here. So 1 is communication, 3 is conflict management, that's where you would find these. And so if you took a screenshot of your PLC permission for your principal and embedded it into app cell component A or task A, they call it task now, but it's still component for you. You can just write 2 sentences and attach app cell component A. You don't even have to go in and take it out. Just attach the whole component. That's why, there's nothing new in this semester. Competencies, evidence artifacts, this is all just putting it together in this semester. If you're doing new stuff, you've gone down the wrong path. 605 is just putting it all together. So I've made 2 documents for you where you can find your competencies. You only have to do 1. If you want to do more, I think that's great, but it's not required. So if we go back and look, so let's look at some of my students, including Drew. From your DRF. So let's see. So we look at Drew's competency folio here. Okay. And so he did one from his evidence artifacts. But he did it a little bit different. And that's why I wanted, he used an open-ended one from evidence artifacts that was not from 1 or 6. He used one from the skip. That's considered open-ended. Didn't come from 1 or 6. You can even do that. That's pretty neat. That's pretty smart. Here's one from the SILE. Again, that would be considered open-ended. He's got stuff from the TWC. Again, that's open-ended because it's not 1 or 2. Now, he did a screenshot and wrote me a sentence on that one. And he just copied stuff or submitted documents he already had. See there, artifact 4, he didn't go in and spend a whole lot of time. He wrote me an explanation and told me what it was. This one's related to artifact 1. So that, he mixed them up. Some of them are open-ended. Some of them are evidence artifacts. Some of them, this is a screenshot related to artifact 2. That's perfectly acceptable. So, and he wrote me a couple sentences, and so he did that. Now, I have some overachievers. Not that Drew isn't an overachiever, but I have some overachievers who created a whole separate document. This is my man Bruce right here. And so what he did is he created a separate document, and he embedded his proof on that document and wrote his explanation on that document. That takes a little bit longer. That's up to you if you want to do it that way, not required. You can do it like Drew did, just write a couple sentences and attach it. Don't have to create a whole new document. So if we look at Bruce's, well, if it'll, TaskStream doesn't like these, I'll tell you that, because it has mixed media. When you embed a different kind of media on a Word document, you can see right here, TaskStream doesn't really like it. It'll open a little bit better for me if I'm not on Zoom, but when I'm on Zoom, it may not even open tonight. Let's see if I can get it to open. I'm not sure that it will. There it comes. So what Bruce did when he did his, if it'll ever pop up, there it comes. So what he took was he wrote me a description, and then he embedded emails on it. He could have just taken screenshots like Drew did and wrote a simple explanation, but he created a whole separate document. Either one of them is fine. This just takes more time and is more involved. And so he did his that way. Now, and then I had people just like the question I had a few minutes ago. I have people like Mary who wants to do 3. Mary's got too much time on her hands.
No.
Mary, you know I love you. Mary's one of my favorites. We meet quite frequently and talk, but Mary is, again, one of my overachievers. And I love that. Hey, I like that the minimum's not the maximum. I love it. But so on each one of hers, Mary went very in depth, and she did 3. Look at there. 3. Mary put like 10 on that one, and she explained every one of them. Now, if you don't believe Mary's not competent, you're not paying attention. Because Mary, look at that. Mary put the work. She found every example of communication. Hey, that's going above and beyond. I like it. You've got time to do that. I mean, that just shows your dedication and hard work, and that you really got it. You really understand that the program worked for you. So that's what I was talking about. Mary did at least, she did at least 3 for every one of them. Some of them more than that. Mary just knocked it out of the park. So you've got everything from Drew, who the quality was there, but he did his the quickest and easiest way, the most efficient way, where he did one, just took the whole document and uploaded it, wrote a couple sentences. Then you got Bruce, who just did one, but he did his a separate document, took him a good bit longer. And then you got Mary, who said, I'm going to find every example of that from my program, not only to show people, but for myself, so that I know what I'm talking about and that I feel that I'm confident in those things. And that's kind of the range that you have. You just got to find your comfort level. I'm just as happy with Drew's as I am with Mary's. Drew did kind of like what I do. See how fast I can get this done. I've got other things to do. And then I love what Mary did in terms of I want to make sure that I got it. I'm not only for everybody else to see, but for myself. I want to find every example of that competency that I did in my program, which is, that's just wonderful. And then I like Bruce's because Bruce said, I'm going to sit and work on these. I want to keep this. And he saved these documents and he wants to put that in a portfolio for job interviewing. And I understand that. That's kind of why he did his that way, so he could build him a portfolio. When people ask about competencies and what he's done, he'll be able to show them his portfolio, which I think is an excellent idea.
And Dr. Ram, for the new group that started out last semester, that's the whole purpose of this anyway.
Yes.
Is to make sure that you've got a solid portfolio when this program is over with.
That's exactly right. I can teach you, and I show my 605s how to do a 2-page summary, and then I work with mine on interviewing, how to do a 2-page summary of your evidence artifacts. But what principals will want to see is something, that shows that you've got some experience. I mean, your biggest drawback to getting a job for you folks is that you don't have any experience. This is your way to show that, hey, I do have experience. Let me open the door here, get a little cool air in. And so this is, an excellent way to do that. I'm working with one of my 605s right now. He's getting ready to interview, and he's answering questions and doing those things on the application form at the round that he's in right now. But down the road, when he gets to the face-to-face interviews, he's going to need to walk in with something in his hand other than just a 2-page resume. And so Bruce went ahead. That's why I said Bruce is getting ready to get him a job. So he went ahead and used this as an opportunity to put a portfolio together for a potential employer. Pretty smart. Bruce is sounding smarter than he did a while ago when you thought he was just doing all that extra work. Make the program work for you. Make it meet your needs. That's great. Now, the beauty of what Mary has done, Mary has changed schools and site supervisors. Pretty smart to have all of your examples so that, if you're the new site supervisor says, well, I'm not sure, guess what Mary can do? Look at all the things that I did. So that's pretty smart on Mary's part. Drew was the same person all the time. I walked in last semester. She said, Drew's done. He's ready to go. So all Drew has to do is just put the check in the box and satisfy me. His principal's already signed off on him. She's good to go. Smart on his part. Spend your time doing something else. I had these 3 examples planned for you tonight I didn't really realize that 2 of them would be in class with us tonight, but I had these 3 examples with, they did it a different way, but they did it a way that served their purposes along the way. All we're interested in is that you got them. But if you can find a way to serve your own purposes by doing these, and there's a reason why, then why not? Make this folio work for you.
And once we get everything in here, we're supposed to request comments. Is that correct?
Yes, and you can select the person that and I would request comments from my clinical coach and from Dr. Stedman.
Okay. Because my clinical coach, I've requested comments from him 3 times over 3 weeks, and he hasn't gotten back to me.
Well, and that's why I said get them from Dr. Stedman. He'll give them to you immediately. Request them from me.
Okay.
And I'll get back to you. I promise you that.
And guys, for me, if any time you send me something and you don't get pretty much something within just 24 hours, you need to find out why, because I don't wait. So
yeah. No, he doesn't. So You request them from your clinical coach, me and Dr. Stedman. And the good thing about requesting them from me, if I say they're good, then your clinical coach can't overrule it. So, bad thing is if I tell you need more, you have to do more too. So, because I'm one in the end that will decide whether they're good enough or not. You might as well just, kind of cut to the chase. And I have some that aren't good enough. And let me show you an example of that. And Lorraine would not be angry with me showing you this. And there she is. And so what I did with Lorraine, so she was going along doing good. And then she got to this one and she just basically said, I did this, but she didn't give me any proof. And so I thought you have to go back and give me something as proof. You have to attach something as a proof. You can't just tell me what you did. And see, again, she just wrote me this statement. She didn't attach anything as proof. And so here's her document. So, I'm not going to nitpick you on your stuff, but the stuff has to be there.
Now, does the internship log count as an artifact, or
yes,
okay.
yes, because it summarizes that list of suggested activities. You can use that if you have to.
So, Dr. Lamb.
Yes, Drew.
From this view here, how can we tell if those competencies are checked off, secure, and good to go? Because I went back into it the other day. It was a long time since I was going back and forth with you finishing them, and I can't see the green check like what we have in TaskStream. So what?
Well, what's going to happen is that drop ad is tomorrow, and we're working on. I'm going to be in Raleigh with Dr. Stedman tomorrow night, and we're running around, but and I'm coming to see you sometime.
Monday. A week from today, I think.
Yeah, I'm coming down to see you next week. At some point, I'm going to light on campus, and Dr. Hamilton and we talked about doing it sometime around March 1. What we're going to do on March 1 is we're going to move these over and check them off at that time.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
We will do that, and it will be long before the deadline. We'll start rolling them in. We could actually start rolling ones like yours now because you're already done, but we will start rolling these off. We'll start rolling them off. And what I may do with yours is just if we don't actually roll them over and grade them, we'll let the certification of competency stand for the grade on that one. So right now we're in debate whether with your group whether we're going to roll them over and and put them in the DRF folio and have clinical coaches grade them again, or whether we're just going to say if you gave them their certification of competency, that meant that their folio was good. It's a TaskStream issue, and I'll be quite honest, it's about money. Every time we have TaskStream do something, they charge us a fortune. And if we get away without rolling the competency folios into your evidence artifact portfolio, we can save a bunch of money. And if we can get by without doing that, we're going to try to. If we're required by accreditation to roll them over, we will. We've got it in the budget, but I just hate to waste that money. We could be doing something else with if we don't have to. But if we have to, if the creditors say, yeah, you have to, then TaskStream will roll them, but they'll charge us a fee for each one we roll. So we'll see how that goes in another week or two. We got to get past drop ad to begin with. They won't touch drop ad because it costs so much money. We don't touch TaskStream until after drop ad. If you're already in there, you're continuing, but we don't do anything with TaskStream until after drop ad. So after tomorrow, we'll talk about what we're going to do with these folios and do we have to actually roll them or not, or can we just say, I checked off on Drew's competency and that's good enough. So You know, I did your competency when you did yours, so it's legitimate. Again, remember, one more thing, let me remind you again. You do not have to do professional dispositions or digital learning competencies. That's for the newer people who started in the fall or the spring. All right. So that covers your DRF portfolio, your competency folio, evidence artifacts, dispositions. Remember, they're still in your old DRF portfolio. You have to, here is your work page right here. Again, only the final one has the summary and descriptors. Remember, if it's got a green lock on it, that means it's not you. You don't have to do licensure. Your principal and your clinical coach does competency. You have to do all of your university dispositions, and when you get them done, there will be a yellow lock on them, and your site supervisor needs to do theirs. So you need to check with your site supervisor and make sure that they've got a username and password. Do it tomorrow. If they don't, have them email Dr. Shellman and get it. We need to get them doing competency and dispositions as soon as we can. Don't want to wait. If we get to the busy season, it won't happen.
Dr. Lamb.
Yes.
They need to know that, you know, technically a lot of this stuff is between them and their clinical coach.
Yes.
But it's okay. I've told them that they can send me anything that they need for me to look at, even if it's not directly a part of semester 5. It doesn't matter. I will help them with it. And you will too if it comes to that. So they need to know that if it's something to help get finished, it doesn't matter. I can do it, and you can too. I can't grade it, but I can tell them it's ready for it. I can't do anything.
Well, I'm looking at Allison's right now. She just requested comments from me, and under creative thinking, she's done a JPEG. She did a form, very neat. She did an existing schedule PDF.
Right.
So this is an example of creative thinking, if it'll. And so, yeah, got it. I understand what she's doing there. Teacher survey, best practice. Yes, these are all examples of creative thinking that she's done. She's provided a reasonable explanation.
Okay.
Very good. And
Very good, Allison.
And this is the right length of explanation too, by the way. We're not asking for War and Peace. I want 2 sentences here.
Okay.
And so
okay.
It's just that simple. Excellent. Keep going. That means that one's done.
Okay.
That's how long it takes. And, you know, it comes through. You heard that little beep in the background. I have task string linked to my Droid, so I'll know I can actually go in on my Droid and do that. Just not as fast. It's not rocket science. Obviously, I'm doing it. It's not rocket science. So that's how easy it is. Other questions?
Take your mute off, everybody, and come back on for a minute.
So now, just as an aside, I'm going to be in Raleigh tomorrow. I'm going to see Pauline at 1 and Melissa at 3. I'm going to see Mary next Wednesday, the 1st. I'll be in Columbia. I'll be in Chester this Wednesday and Charlotte. I'll be in Fayetteville and Raleigh next Monday. I'm going to go see Drew in Holly Springs and then slip on down to Fayetteville. I'll go through the big town of Fuquay-Varina. They still have 2 flags over Fuquay. When I was in school there, that's a joke. And so I'll be around the state. I'll be in Raleigh or Charlotte. If you need to come and see me, If you need a visit from one of us, just let us know. We can Zoom with you. We'll email with you, whatever you need. You know, I'm just interested that we get everybody through.
And I'm gonna get Mary, you still there?
Yes.
Mary, you know what? Dr. Mary had nerve to ask me, Dr. Lance. She said, are we gonna survive this semester? And I told her yes, she would survive. And you know what? After you've bragged on Mary, I know she can do everything now.
Mary's you saw the quality of all the
Right.
And she did a great job as an intern when she was in Rain before she went back to her home.
Yeah.
Mary got kind of orphaned to a different school, and but she's back.
It's working out.
Things are going good.
But I wanted to tell all of them, guys, just follow. And I'm sorry for the misunderstanding with that thing in Blackboard. Remember, you don't even look at that. Only look at my assignments and don't even worry about that. And do like we did last semester, and you're going to be okay. Just keep up with your schedule, and you're going to be fine. Mary, I promise you.
Okay.
You know to call me, reach out to me. Several of you have. You send me an email, you send me a text, you call me, whatever you need to do. If I need to privately Zoom with you, whatever I need to do, we're going to do whatever we have to do to get you through this semester, and you're going to be fine. Dr. Lamb and I both want you well equipped, and we're going to do whatever it takes to help you get there.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
No.
Dr. Lamb, thank you so much for giving this time, and if going down the road, if we see we need to come together one more time, I'm sure Dr. Lamb will come together with us.
I don't have class on Monday night. I am usually available on Monday nights. I'm ready whenever y'all are. I'm available on Monday night.
So guys, if we get to a point that I think that we need Dr. Lamb again, because I'm learning from him as well, we'll do what we need to do. But at this point, I will send you today's video and the other documents. You probably won't get it until tomorrow sometime after Dr. Lamb sends you everything. But you'll get all this stuff, and then make contact with me if you need to. Okay?
I did not need to speak to the other classes.
Thank you very much.
Special ed.
Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good evening.
And
Thank you.
I'm getting some good work that's being submitted, so keep up the good work. Just make sure that you look carefully and edit your stuff before you send it, because I am a stickler about those kinds of things as well. So make sure you're editing it and look at. I want it to be professional when you send it to me. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, but thank y'all. You're doing some really good work.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be in touch, and I'll talk to you sometime during the week via an email or something, okay?
All right.
Dr. Lamb, thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow night.
All righty.
Okay. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.